viable alternative, that would end the situation right there.
Is it realistic that we might expect some answers from Brad Rutledge and
he's working on
the attorney in 2 weeks?
Our next bond issue will be Build America bond, so it's not foreign to him. He's dealt with them quite a bit, so he could look into these developments probably and get an answer to us pretty quickly.
Okay. Perfect.
Great.
Then our people will contact your people.
That's fine. We will await the phone call.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Do you have something you'd like to say?
You need to come up to the mic, sir. Otherwise, no one at home can hear you.
Thank you. I'm Howard Reinders with Reinders Inc. in Grand Haven. The only thing I wanted to say is this wasn't available a year ago. I think we're the first ones in the state to be aware of the Build America bond. It seemed like such a perfect fit when there's no financing for our elderlies, because we always did everything with the Michigan State Housing Development Authority. Reinders and Associated Management 2 years ago were awarded the best elderly developers in the state. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Hey, can I just ask one other question? I'm sorry.
Yes.
Is there a representative here from the Jonah?
I spoke for him.
Okay. I thought I saw some. Were there any other plans for that property before this came up? I know there was originally thoughts of putting office buildings on that property.
We've prepared concept drawings. We've been in discussion with people. So this is they're a viable, certainly very, very reputable entity, and we'd be very supportive of this project should you deem it something that you wanted to pursue. Hate to be evasive, but until you've got a deal, you never know if you've got a deal. I mean, there's been a lot of conversation, with various parties, but it's all conversation.
Okay.
It was office.
Thank you.
I think just for information, it was zoned, I believe, for office, if I'm not mistaken, that particular portion of the property. And so it's not zoned properly for a building that's being proposed. And secondly, we don't have 4-story buildings basically in Clawson, so it's not zoned for 4 stories either. So that's another issue. Just kind of run around, think about.
Yeah, just.
Well, they did say they could do 3.
Yeah. Well, it's not zoned for 3 either, I don't think.
But just,
those are a couple of issues.
Right.
Besides
Big
financing.
issues. We just rezoned that to that west gate, and this wasn't even thought of at that
No.
point in time. So once again, we're talking about setting up a new zoning area and then altering it right off the bat. So no, and as much as I sound against it, I'm willing to sit in and listen to a presentation open-mindedly.
Anything else?
Well, I got to be under the assumption that Jonah's not doing anything about it because of the HUD money, and we're able to get a bond. Is that for us to buy it was what they're talking, correct? To finance this. Well, the city can actually get the money to do it, correct? Whereas it makes things a little bit easier for them not to do it.
Oh, yeah.
What he's saying is the restriction that the city has to own it versus the company of Jonah buying that land.
We already own it.
Jonah
I'm
owns
sorry,
the
they
land.
already own the.
Yeah,
Whether you.
Frankly, Tom might be more versed in that aspect of the financing component, because in order to qualify for the bond, it's in the city's name. Again, he's a resident expert on that matter, and I'm not. So, but in order to activate it, it needs to be transferred, conveyed to the city, as I understand the program. So
So it has to be, the city has to own it because,
Only
In
municipalities.
order to use the Build America Bond program for this, the city actually has to own the development at the end of the day, and has to be, essentially, you're the developer, but we do it for you, essentially, is what it is. That's to use the Build America Bond. We have had other financing methods in the past, and that was one of the things that Mr. Reinders had mentioned earlier, was we've done a bunch of these with the Michigan State Housing Development Authority and housing tax credits. That particular market within the last 2 years is completely dried up, so that availability just isn't there today. We assume, and it isn't there today in Michigan more than it isn't there today in other states. So we're suffering under that particular problem. We not only think, we know that there's still a demand. The senior population, I mean, I'm getting there myself, and it's growing. That's really the only growing demand area in residential housing at this point over the next 10 or 15 years, with the baby boomers working into this. So we're still trying to provide the housing that's needed. This is a financing mechanism that's available today that can provide this. If a city thinks that there's a need for them, for their citizens, we can provide this. We probably can't provide it doing it ourselves. So we're willing to give up the benefit that we would see down the line in order to keep the business running and in order to provide you with housing that you think you need. If you don't think you need the housing, then we'll walk away. I guess that really is the bottom line. But we're happy to provide the information for you to help you make that decision if you feel you want to.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Anything else? Okay. Next item is consideration of a resolution for Da Nang Restaurant to amend their Class C license to include an outdoor service area. So Da Nang needs this resolution approval by City Council to include serving alcohol in the outdoor area.
Madam Mayor, I move the resolution for Da Nang LLC to amend their Class C license to include an outdoor service area be approved.
Support.
Comments or questions?
Just one question. Do we know, like, where, are they going to go around the corner like Black Lotus? Or are they just going on one side or the other? Do we know? Oh, Jim. Sorry.
Madam Mayor and Council, no, they are only proposing a service area on the South Main side of the Da Nang restaurant, out their side door there.
All right. Thank you. Sorry to make you get up just for that.
Any other questions? Roll call, please.
Samuel Moore,
yes?
Tom Palmer,
Yes?
Kathy Phillips,
Yes.
Hal Uris,
Yes.
Penny Lewis.
Yes. Item 9 on the agenda is public hearing. The official wordage is solicitation of comments on the proposed amendment to Chapter 34 Land Development Regulations, Article X, Zoning Division 1, generally repeal and replace Section 3448(6), uses not otherwise specified within a use district, excluding uses not mentioned and providing waivers from such exclusions within the City of Clawson and providing penalties for any violation and setting forth a statement of purpose for such ordinance. Now, this, our packets are on the internet. We have agendas here to pick up, but as someone living in Clawson, what does this mean?
Can we have the English translation, please?
Does this refer to the medical marijuana piece?
That would be one example. What we've done is, this is a catch-all. So any use that is not specifically provided for in our ordinance is therefore excluded. And then we set up, think about it as an extra check. If we haven't thought of a use, and somebody comes to us and says, we want to do this use in your city,